Welcome to the Self-Made Mastery Summer Webinar Series. Ladies, I spent last year 100 days meeting all of you in cities across America, 275 days on the road, ladies, with my book, my New York Times bestseller, Self-Made, Becoming Empowered, Self-Reliant, and Rich in Every Way. It was so great to meet all of you, and I heard from all of you. Nellie, you've given us so much information in your book. You've talked so much about becoming self-made and how it's the new ticking clock for women. But how do we do it? Step by step. You know, I know we're embarrassed sometimes to say that we really don't know how to do it, how to begin, how to get it done. So this summer, I'm giving you a 3-part series, and there may be even more after that, because I'm so inspired to show you step by step how to get started. I want to reach out to my Adelante movement ladies. You've been with me from the beginning, my Latinas. You are at the core of everything I do, and I'm so glad we started Self-Made so that all women can meet each other. All women know that we're in it together. All my multicultural women, my African American women that I met on the road, my Asian women, my Indian women, my Middle Eastern women, my Muslim women, we are here with you. All together, we are all becoming self-made. So let's get started, and I'm going to show you step by step. First of all, this #1 webinar is called How to Start Your Business. This #1 webinar is called How to Start Your Business, because that's the big thing you told me. How do we get started? The self-made mission is to unite all women in the quest to become financially self-reliant. You know that I tell all of you, we all have to think like owners. We have to change our mindset from victims to victors, from employees to owners. We're not all gonna be entrepreneurs, but we can all start thinking like an entrepreneur. And you're gonna see that all of us in some way have to create an entrepreneurial life. Self-Made is a program inside of the Coca-Cola Company's initiative called 5x20, which is a global initiative to empower 5 million women by the year 2020. And we're all a part of it. Latinas are a part of it in the US, and we're part of this mission around the world. How incredible. So what are the goals of becoming self-made? How do we get started? Before you start a business, you have to master the runway. There is a runway, just like on an airplane. There's some things you have to do before the plane takes off, before you take off. So let's talk about what those things are. #1, before you do anything, you have got to go get a job or stay in your job, work hard, and save 2 years of salary. I know what you're going to do, because all of you, when I go on the road, say, there's no way I can save 2 years of salary. We're going to talk about that. Yes, you can. I've done it. A lot of people I've worked with have done it. You have to sacrifice to save 2 years of salary, but you have to do that. Why? Because without 2 years of salary, you don't have 1 year of safety so that you can feel secure, and 1 year to get started to invest in something. So you are not leaving your job. You are not from one day to the next going, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm leaving my job. No, you are going to stay in that job. You're going to go into that job every day and think like an owner. You're going to be good in that job. And on the side, you're going to start a side hustle, which we'll talk about. That side hustle is the thing you're going to do on Sunday, starting 1 hour a week. And all the money you make from whatever your side hustle is, you're going to save it. A lot of women say to me, well, aren't you telling me that I'm going to cheat on my job by starting a side hustle? No. In a digital age, if you don't do something on the side, if you don't go on the internet, if you're not on Airbnb, eBay, Amazon, all the different apps that are out there where you can make money, you're not bringing information back into your business. You have to bring that information back into your business. You have to be a great employee. You have to think like an entrepreneur. You are going to go and learn the shared economy. That means you're going to sell the clothes in your closet on eBay or Amazon or many of the other sites where you can sell your clothes that you don't need, the quinceañera dress, the wedding dress of the guy you divorced, you're going to sell it. And that money is going to go in a pot of money that is going toward that 2 years. And when you start seeing that pot grow, you're going to be inspired not to give up, because you're going to go, oh my God, I can make this really work. So if you have a house and you have a garage, you're going to rent that room in your house or that garage on Airbnb. You're going to take care and take charge of the shared economy to bring that extra money. And the quicker you bring that 2 years of salary home, the quicker you are free to do great things with your life. So that also means, you have to live beneath your means. You have to decide, can I live with a roommate? Do I really have to get coffee every day out? Do I really have to go out to eat this many days a week? Because the quicker you get to 2 years, the younger you are and the quicker you get to 2 years of money saved, the quicker you are going to become self-made. So why are we doing this? I want us to ground ourselves in why this is important. You're like, oh my God, you want me to sacrifice? You want me to save 2 years of salary? Why? Because the goal is to have a rich life in every way. Do you want to get to, I know right now you may be 20 years old and watching this and you don't think you're going to be 50, but you will. And if you haven't done this work, by the time you're 50, your life's not going to be pretty. Some of my friends are 50 and they've never done the work, and now we have to speed it up because it's never too late. It's never too late to do this work. But the longer you wait to do it, the more you're going to have to sacrifice. So I want us to remind ourselves that we want to live a rich life in every way, meaning abundant, meaning in love and family. You can't do these things if you haven't worried about money your whole life. So what does it mean to have a rich life in every way? It means you're out of survival mode. When you are living hand to mouth, if your car breaks down, that's a catastrophe. If you have money and your car breaks down, it's an annoyance. Catastrophe or annoyance. Catastrophe that could lead you to being almost homeless. So I want you to think that we don't want to be in survival mode. We want to be out of survival mode. I work because I want to and not because I have to. I'm never going to retire because I love to work, but there's a difference between working because you want to and working because you have to. Like when people win the lottery and they go, oh my God, I'm never going back to work. Well, you know what? Most people don't win the lottery. Most people can do this exactly what I've done, which is save money, invest your money, create a side hustle, and get to the point where you work because you want to and not because you have to, without hitting the jackpot. I think we all want to get to the point where we can reward ourselves and we can reward our children. Now, when you're 20, no, you shouldn't be going to Europe and spending you should be going to Europe on $100 a day because you can do that when you're 20. When you're 50, you're not going to want to do that. So you will get to the point early, if you start early, where you can reward yourself and eventually your children. You will also be able to sleep at night. I want you all to sleep at night. Do you know that when people have economic problems, that's when we get divorced, that's when we don't sleep well, that's when people start taking pills because they can't sleep? Guess what? When you don't have economic worries, you sleep like a baby. So remember, we're going for a rich life in every way. Why don't you guys at home, take pictures, make a collage. What does a rich life in every way mean to you? I think the more we write things down, the more we visualize them, the more we can make them happen. Let's keep going. So how do we do it? We start by setting goals. Okay, and how do we do that? We look at our life, we go to the end of our life and work our way backwards. Maybe if you're 20, the end of your life, as far as you can look forward is 50. But at my age, you can look at 80 as the end of your life, or 90, right? So I want you to think about, who are the people that you've seen on TV? Or who are the people that you know, or people that are in your life, or people that you work with that are older than you that have figured it out? And maybe it's not one person. Maybe it's one person's personal life that you like, and another person's career life, and another person, how they live their life around money and how they've made money. And start putting that in the thing that you write down or in the collage. What does that look like? Who does that person look like? And at the same time, look at somebody that's older than you, that's 50, 60, 70, 80, that their life is messed up. And then you go, I don't want to be 80 and be in that boat. It could even be a relative of yours. It's very important to see what you don't want to be and what you want to be, to start setting goals. What do I want my life and my work to look like by the time I get to X age? And you also have to kind of look that over every year, because your image of what it should be might change somewhat. But again, the idea is to set goals, to look at what we want and ground ourselves in what we want so we are able to make the sacrifices it takes to get there. So Becoming self-made is the way to get to the end of your life well. Why? Because self-made doesn't just mean entrepreneurship. It means becoming fully self-reliant around your life, around your money, around your well-being. Not thinking that the world, the universe is coming to save you. Knowing that you have to rely on yourself first and foremost. And that's a mindset. And that's why that's the way to your personal happiness. Okay, let's get into it, the game plan, the step-by-step game plan. Okay, ready for the game plan? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We are not leaving our job, okay? What did I tell you? We're starting a side hustle. Or if we have a real business we know we wanna do, your job is while you're in a job, you're going to land your first client. Whatever it is, maybe you're working in a job and you shoot videos on the side, you're gonna land a client that you shoot videos for. You make bracelets, you love to make bracelets, and you're working in a corporate job. Okay, you go get a little store that's gonna buy your bracelets and sell your bracelets. You land a client. I want you all to think about, what do you know how to do to land a client? Now the client doesn't have to be grandiose. It could just be, wow, I have all this stuff in my closet and I could sell it on eBay. Well, landing a client means you've sold your first product on eBay. You've landed your first tenant on Airbnb. Land the plane, land a client. That is step one on the side. Do not leave your job. This is an experiment. This is a hypothesis. We think we can do this. Okay, go do it on the side. Okay, now you've landed one client. What do you do next? This is what you do. First, you do a great job with the one client you have. If you're selling on eBay, wow, you keep selling on eBay and you figure out how to get better. Am I writing the thing to sell the eBay better? Am I taking the picture well of the product I'm selling? How do you become more masterful? If you're making videos on the side, does the video look good? Are you taking, classes to be a better videographer, a better editor? Whatever it is you're doing, do a great job first. Become good so people want you more. Over deliver. Don't do a half-assed job. Do it really well. Make it so that the client goes, wow, you're the best person I've ever seen do this. And if you're not getting jobs back, say, did I really over-deliver? Did I do a good job? I think also you have to build relationships with your clients, okay? If you sell something on eBay or Amazon or Airbnb, do you send notes back thanking your customer for coming? Saying, next time you come back, I'll give you a 10% discount? Are you really cultivating that relationship? Because business is all about relationships. So it's very hard to get a customer. So you don't want the customer to leave. So I want you to be really careful of that relationship because it's much easier to get return business from that original customer. And I want you to be appreciative. What I said, did you send an email thanking them? Do you really honor the fact that that customer is the beginning of your entire future? And remember that for the rest of your life, that that person that came and gave you business first was the beginning of your entire life. So the first thing is, how do you deal with those original first customers? I want you to remember that those first customers are now your number one marketing tool. Word of mouth. Somebody that recommends you to somebody else is the best customer you could have. Next, I'm going to tell you, one of the things I've learned is sometimes we climb a mountain the hardest possible way. I say follow your business karma. And what I mean by that is sometimes you really get stuck. Like, let's say you want to do one thing that you think, that's what I want to do. Like for me, it was always like, I want to make TV shows. And I would get deals in business doing promos or doing things for TV channels. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do TV shows. I say that the older me would say to you, follow the karma of what's coming naturally. When things show up and business shows up, you don't reject it because in your mind, it's not what you're supposed to be doing. The universe might be sending you a message. Here, it's under your nose. Take it. Take it. You don't know where it's going to lead you. So don't be grandiose. Don't think that you have a better idea than the universe. Believe the universe. Believe whatever you believe. If you believe in God, if you believe in the universe, somebody's trying to send you a message. Take the business, okay? I have to tell you a story. When I was very young, ESPN called me and said, we want you to launch ESPN in Latin America. And I'll never forget, my dear friend Bernard Stewart, still my friend, he was the client, and he said to me, this is a great deal, we want you to do it, you used to run a TV station. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I hate sports, I don't know anything about sports, and I don't want to do a channel. And he's like, I didn't hear you. Go home, get a tutor, learn sports in a month, and come back and get the deal. And, you know, not always do you have a Bernard Stewart giving you that advice. Well, I'm going to give it to you now. When somebody offers you a gift on a silver platter, here's a piece of business. Oh, it's not your idea of what you should be doing? Too bad, tough. Do it. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know why it's shown up. Maybe there's somebody you're supposed to meet. Maybe you're on the wrong path. Take the business. Follow your business karma, what comes to you naturally. Very few things in life are easy. Whatever comes to you easily, take it. Follow the money, okay? And that's a big thing, because I think so many of us get into our ego about what we think we're supposed to be, and there is a plan for us. And you'll see that life sort of starts guiding you into that plan. I want you to remember, don't get anxious. I got to leave my job. I'm too good for this job. No, do not leave your job. Live a double life, okay? You've got your client now. That's your side client. I want you to go get 2 more on the side. 3, keep going. And love that job. That job is keeping you together. Give them 150% and give your side business 150%. And a lot of you say to me, well, how can I do that? You know what? Forget about it. When you start this, you're going to have more energy, more stamina. And if you don't, you can't play. Life is about people with stamina, okay? So you have got to live a double life for a while and give both lives everything you've got, because this is your future. And this business is helping you to do that. So treat them well and don't leave yet. Okay. I'm going to assume you're going to follow everything I'm telling you. And you think right now you can't get to 2 years of salary saved, but you are at that crossroads. You have 2 years of salary saved. 1 year is put away in some account, retirement and other, that you're never going to touch. That is for an emergency. And you have 1 year of salary, okay? And at this crossroads, you have a lot of choices now. Now your life begins being about choices instead of survival. And that's where we want to get to. So at this point, you hopefully have 2 years of salary saved and maybe even a client. Now, if you're doing the shared economy thing, you have other choices too, because you have saved the money, and now you can decide, do I want to keep doing this business and grow this business, or do I want to start a different business? If you have a couple of clients, most likely you're ready to launch that business. So let's talk about it. So I want you to know that for me, how I started when I had the 2 years of salary saved is I went to the company that I worked for. And this is something to think about. The companies I already worked for, I realized that there were holes in that company that I could convince them, because I was so good at my job, to take that business as a vendor and go outside of the company. And that's how I did it, okay? So I never had to go start a business from scratch. I would go to these bosses that I had and I'd say, look, you know that I make these videos for you that are great. Can I just do them as a vendor outside of the company? And that's how I began. But for most of us, you know, I want you to think in your company, is there an opportunity for that? Don't be crazy. If you're working and people like you and you've killed yourself and you've made yourself, you know, so important in that company, you should be able to say, can you guys hire me as a vendor? And we'll talk about this later, because almost every company in America has what they call a supplier diversity program, where they give contracts to outside vendors. You could be one of those vendors. This is how I did it. But I'm going to show you other ways to do it. Okay, so you've now got the 2 years of salary and you've landed your first client. Okay, when you know it's time to go and start a business is when you get your first 1 year contract from a client. I mean, you know you've got your 1 year saved, You've got the other year to invest in your business, and now you've got a 1-year contract. So I told you how I did it, but for you, this is how you know it's time to go. You have a client that wants to give you a 1-year contract. Well, now you're in great shape because you have your money saved for a rainy day. You have 1 year that you can use to invest in your company and invest in your client. And now you have a client that wants to give you a 1-year contract. So the first thing you're going to do is land the plane, get the contract, close the deal. You know, a lot of people talk a lot, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The hardest thing in life is to land the plane, to really close the deal, to really have the money in the bank. So how do you do that? First of all, you have to have a contract. What the heck do you know about doing a contract? Well, if you work in a company, hopefully you've become friends with somebody in the legal department. There are contracts in companies. You should really, when you're in a company and you're doing one little job in a company, you should learn about accounting and budgets. You should learn about legal, because the day it happens to you, you're going to want to tap into people and look at different contracts so you can see what is the standard for what you do in the business. So the first thing you're going to do is start working with a lawyer. And you don't need, everybody goes, that's so expensive. No, you're not going to start with the top lawyer in a firm. You're going to ask for an associate, a student, because what do? They go find other people with contracts like yours and they cut and paste. You don't need that top layer guy or woman when you're starting your business, but you need a contract. The United States is a litigious country. If you don't have everything in writing, it's not like in other countries we come from where you shake a hand and it's a deal. No, you need a contract. So again, I want you to get copies of contracts in your field. However you have to get them. If you have to ask other friends of yours, the job where you are, the idea is that you have to become familiar with creating a contract. So what you're going to do is focus on, you got a 1-year deal, close the deal and make a contract, okay? And you may learn as you go along the mistakes you make, because we don't all figure this all out the first time out at bat. But if you're smart and you follow everything I'm telling you, you will do it, because this isn't brain surgery, okay? People do it every day. We all figure it out, and I'm just telling you the secret sauce of how to do it. Okay, the next thing you're going to do, so you have your contract, you have your money saved, and now you are starting a business. The first thing you're going to do is lower your overhead. Number one mistake business owners make. Okay, I got a contract, I got this thing, I'm not going to hire 1 million people, I'm going to get a brand new office, I'm going to decorate the office. Hell no. Okay? You start saying, is it possible for me to work out of my house? Is it possible for me to work out of my garage? In fact, can I lower my overhead? Because to run a business costs money. To promote your business costs money. So in the beginning of a business, don't do what the natural instinct is, I got a contract, I'm going to make all this money, I'm going to now start spending the money. No, you spend less than before, because you want to be so secure that you're not going to blow it, that you have money left over, that you're profitable. So lower your overhead. So that means work from your home. Rent conference rooms when you need a conference room for a client. In today's world, some people go, I'm embarrassed because I'm driving an Uber on the side while I started my business, and I don't want the client to see that I'm renting an office. I go, listen, great entrepreneurs, when I go on an airplane and I fly coach, and people say to me, wow, you've done so much, I can't believe I'm seeing you in coach. I go, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a great entrepreneur. I don't waste money on stupid things. People only admire you more. The more humble you are, the more you're a great business person. Warren Buffett, my idol, drives in the same car he's driven in for 20 years. I admire that. When I see people and I go into somebody's new office and it's grandiose and they just got started, I'm like, this is going to go under. Because I know that's not the success formula. Okay? Lower your overhead. Go against your natural instinct. Do not sign a long-term lease. Do in this shared economy, rent space when you need it only. Leverage technology, okay? Don't try to do everything. Like a lot of people start businesses, a lot of the women I've met around the country, and they immediately want to have a retail store. Are you kidding me? For what? No. Do everything online first. Just everything there is reducing expenses is a smart entrepreneur. And that's what a client admires. Do you think that if I walk, even a doctor's office, if I walk into a doctor's office and I see that it's really like glamorous and grandiose, I go, all my money's going for this office. You have to think that we don't live in like other eras where people were just wasting money. That's how you should be thinking. When you go to any office and you see somebody with everything grandiose, you should be going, wow, I'm paying for their grandiosity. Nobody wants to do that. So be humble, spend less money, and that's a really good way to start. Don't buy things you need. Don't hire employees you don't need. Get freelancers. You don't know what you're really going to need till you're in business for a few years. Next, the number one mistake I see people doing, they don't have an LLC, a limited liability corporation. We forget that we live in a country, again, litigious, right? So, you know, if you are, even I meet women that tell me, I clean houses. I go, no, you don't clean houses. You have a janitorial service. We don't understand that when we hear like Donald Trump say, I didn't pay taxes or whatever, which is kind of an exaggeration, but whatever, it means that you could be doing the same thing too. If you are a business versus an individual, you could write off a lot of expenses. There's advantages in this country to being a small business. So I want to talk to you about an LLC, because everybody goes, isn't that really expensive? Well, you know, if you're making $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, you may not need an LLC because your liability is limited. But if you're working, for instance, in the food industry or in anything that's legal or in anything where you could get sued, it's very important to have a limited liability corporation. It protects you. So that if, let's say, you know, you're doing something and God forbid you have a car accident and somebody gets hurt, your house and everything else you own doesn't get taken away from you. It's only that limited liability corporation that's at stake. And hopefully, we'll talk later, you're going to put insurance on that. So I want you all to, let me tell you what I do. I mean, and I've been doing this for years. You go on LegalZoom or one of these websites that are legal. They're very good and they're very cheap. You can talk to a lawyer on the phone and ask them, this is my business. This is how much revenue I have. This is what I do. Do I need an LLC yet or not? Okay? That costs you $0. You then find out, and on any of these websites, you can go and get a limited liability corporation for like from 150 to less than that. And you are now a legal entity. Wow, that's an incredible thing. So now your whole tax structure is different. You can write things off. And I always say, in a family, I don't think people say this to women a lot, and certainly not to multicultural people, never hear this. But in a family, if everyone is W-2'd, that's a mistake. You know that when you get a W-2 and you're an employee, and everybody wants a job. I need to get a job. Well, in America, it's not built really on everyone in a family having a W-2, because that means your taxes get taken off right off the top. You want one person in a family to be able to write off the expenses of the business. So an LLC is very important. Go on any of these legal websites. You know, I like LegalZoom personally. I have no interest. I'm not sponsored by LegalZoom or anything. I like them. You call them and you find out exactly. They'll talk to you for hours. Don't keep going without this foundation. Having an LLC is like putting your business in a safe. It's like really protecting it, okay? And I think that when you go a lo loco by yourself, you know, you don't realize that you could really get yourself in big trouble. Okay, so I already told you, you go to LegalZoom or one of those kind of websites, and that's how you start learning about that. Okay, next, you now have the LLC. You need insurance. Can I tell you how many women I met last year? Started a restaurant, whatever. The restaurant goes on fire. They have no fire insurance. I mean, you live in a country where, like, if I had to say the number one thing, number one, that you have to invest in is insurance. And not just a lo loco either, not crazy, right? Like, you have to sit down with an insurance agent. We all, you know, I've talked to you in the past about creating a team, right? The team is, you know, meeting a young lawyer, we'll talk more about other members of the team. Insurance, find yourself an insurance agent that's someone that somebody knows. If you don't know how to do that, go to a chamber of commerce. We're going to talk later about joining organizations that can find you credible people that they've vetted, right? Insurance is very important because people that are underinsured, it feels like a waste of money. And I know like as a Latino, sometimes we don't really even believe in insurance because in our countries, insurance didn't mean anything, but it's a mistake. This is a country where if you're not insured, again, a catastrophe could happen to you that will change your life so radically that you don't even know what hit you. So to me, I look at it and I say, every profession and every kind of business has a different type of insurance. Like I put here, food. In the food world, you can contaminate someone and they could die and you're like, it's over for you, okay? Speakers, like I go out and speak. Liability, what if somebody says, oh, she said something mean about me, whatever. So you need liability insurance. A product line, things can malfunction. You can send clothes out and they have a malfunction and people can sue you. Doctors, doctors have to pay the most insurance for malpractice, but don't be afraid. Like, I think a lot of us go, oh my God. No, insurance is no big deal. You have to just do it. No big deal. Don't make a big deal out of it. It's another thing that allows you to sleep at night. Listen, I am so over-insured that I sleep like a baby because I go, no big deal. And I have an LLC for everything in my life. Like every building I own, LLC. Every production I do, LLC. Every single thing is protected. And I like that feeling that all the work I do and everything I put out in the world is cocooned in a way that is protected. And that if anything goes wrong, I collect money. That's how you should think. You're creating great work and you want to protect it. Okay, the next thing. The person most important in my life is a CPA. My CPA, Roberta, I have a woman CPA. She's amazing. If you don't have a CPA in your life, you're going to have troubles because how do you know what you can write off in your type of business and what you can't? Taxes is not something you think about. At the end of the year passes, you don't even know what the heck, and the next year you go, oh, I got to do my taxes. No, taxes are to be planned the year before. You start the year. You see the CPA at the beginning of the year. You go, this year, I'm doing this kind of work. I project that I'm going to make más o menos this kind of money, right? And what should I be planning for? And the CPA will say to you, if you're going to make this kind of money, you really should be buying your equipment, not renting your equipment. This year, there's a federal tax incentive, which I'll talk about later, where you can buy more computers and get a bigger tax rate. You have to plan your money. And I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, man, this is a lot of work. It really isn't. Do you really think when you wake up in the morning that you have to brush your teeth and you have to put on clothes and you got to now work out, Once you get the hang of this is like no big deal. But I'm giving you all the steps that no one tells you. You need a CPA. Again, you can get a low-level CPA for starters, but you need to talk to the CPA at the beginning of the year and plan your financial year. Not just get to the end of the year and go, oh my God, I didn't do anything and now I have all these taxes I have to pay. Why did I even work this hard? It's not even worth it. Because you didn't plan it out. And by the way, that's happened to me. One year I made so much money in my TV life. I had a TV show that hit big. And at the end of the year, I ended up with $40,000 of a lot, believe me, a lot of money. I ended up with $40,000 because I didn't plan it out right. And I didn't buy equipment and I didn't do anything. And I ended up owing all the money to taxes. And I was so heartbroken. And that's when I finally figured out, like I'm telling you a lot of stuff I did wrong, okay? But that's why I'm telling you so you don't do it wrong. I finally got a CPA and the CPA goes, you didn't tax plan. So if you get into this routine early, even when you're making 20 cents, you are gonna be masterful. And the whole idea of this webinar series is to master becoming self-made. And that's why you're very lucky because you're learning from all my mistakes. I had to learn this the hard way. So a CPA, just so you understand what a CPA does. The CPA understands tax laws and incentives. Incentives are like coupons that are available that save you a lot of money that I'm probably speaking Chinese to all of you, you don't even know what I'm saying. And I didn't know either, but there are these coupons, these incentives that help your business and yourself. Plan your spending. Plan your taxes and what you can write off so you know what to spend money on. You know what to invest your profit on so you even get more business. Understand how to keep your books, and the CPA can help you find a bookkeeper. I think a bookkeeper is more important than a trainer, okay? Somebody that helps you, and eventually you can do it too, that sets up your QuickBooks, QuickBooks are available to everybody, whether you make $10 a year or $1 million a year. You set up your books and you keep your books clean. I hire a bookkeeper. The bookkeeper comes to my house twice a month and does all my accounting. I pay all the bills, but they check me and say, oh, did this get paid? Did that get paid? And they tell me as we're going every month, what's my profit? What's my loss? Am I overspending? What am I doing? It means being mindful of your money. And I know a lot of you, when I've gone on the road, say to me, I hate the whole money thing. I like the business, but I don't like the money. Well, you better learn to love money. And you better learn to love taking care of your money, because seeing money grow makes you high. And so to learn it, to become familiar, to make it be no big deal, because it's no big deal, it's fun, it's a puzzle. And you have people that can help you do it. So you know what? A bookkeeper might cost you $50 a month. It's worth it to have everything in your life clean, your finances, that you know where you stand, that you know what your debt is, that you know how you're paying it off, that you know what your business is doing. A bookkeeper is worth their weight in gold. Okay, so what do all these people do in your life? The CPA, the bookkeeper, and you. What is the goal? The goal is to have checks and balances, right? How many people do you hear get embezzled, or they don't know how much money they have, they don't know how they lost their money? That's unacceptable. Okay? You need to keep very close. You need to fall in love with your money. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it like, you know, not ignore it like it's something for somebody else to do that you don't have any idea how to do it. Okay, so checks and balances is the reason you're doing this, so that you really know what is the point of everything you're doing. Like, it's looking at money in a more spiritual way, right? Like, it's guiding you to freedom, right? So to understand that life is about creating more choices for yourself, more possibilities, then you have to really fall in love with money. And I don't mean that in a weird way, because it's not that money, I don't believe money is the root of happiness or anything, but money is the root to freedom. And so you have to have a better relationship with money than just ignoring it and sweeping it under the rug. So when I talk about all these people, the bookkeeper, the CPA, all these people, what do I want for all of you? I want to know what is the money you're earning. I want you to be able, that if I ask you, what did you make this month? That you know the answer to that. Not like, oh yeah, I'm collecting the money. Wait till we get into further webinars about collecting money for businesses. I want you to know what you're spending. I want you to be mindful. You know, my little son, I gave him a credit card just to get food in school. And at the end of the month, I sit down with him and I go, let me show you what you spent this month. And some months I'm like, wow, you did a good job. And other months I'm like, te pasaste, you went off the deep end. And I'm like, no. And I'm really teaching him how to budget, okay? We all have to have a budget. You really have to say, is this something I need or is this something I want? And again, delay gratification. You know what? At my age, I can buy whatever I want. I've been on trips around the world, but I didn't do that when I was younger. I think we all have to realize that it takes real sacrifice to go for very big things. So I want you to think about the fact that I want you to know the tax laws that pertain to your business. And that's something that your CPA and your bookkeeper are going to tell you. You don't have to go do research. And you're going to go, wow, I know what I can do. I want you to, in your business, have two people keep the books, meaning that you have your QuickBooks, whatever, and once you start having employees, that they keep a set of books so you can check each other and always be sure that everything is right. Because again, nothing in life makes you sleep better. All the other things you do, you can work on a project creatively, it could be good, it could be bad, you're not gonna die. But if your money's not in order, you don't sleep well. If your money's not in order, relationships in your life don't work. People want people that are grounded, people that are solid, that they can rely on, that are earners, that are ambitious, and that really are grounded in money. I tell people, when you're 20, you don't always think like that, but when you're 50, man, you're really sexy if you're grounded and you know your money. So I promise you, this is the most important thing. When my son says to me, Mom, I hate math, I hate algebra, and I go, really? Because the X factor is what makes or breaks a business. You are going to use math every day of your life, so you better learn to love math. For me, I hated math too. I hired a tutor in my first job, and that tutor loved math. She was Latina, and I love her so much because she changed my life by making me fall in love with math. And I hired my son a tutor too because I couldn't do it for him, but a tutor finally got him to see math that is the most creative thing in the world. And I want you all to love math the way I love math, because a business with no math is no business at all. Okay, what else do I want you to do as a business? Join organizations. You can't do this alone. Many of you have heard me say in my book that I started a business when I was 25. For 4 years, I made no money. What was my mistake? I did not join organizations. In the 4th year, I joined my local chamber of commerce. I joined an organization called EO, an entrepreneur organization, and I realized that there were issues with my business, and I had to pivot. And again, when you're around other people like you, that helps you, that says, you're paying too much for that Xerox copier, you're doing this wrong. Other people that are in it, entrepreneurs, are very helpful to each other. Join organizations, and I detail them all for you. And they're all in my website as well, but you will see them right now on the PowerPoint. Okay, I think we've done a lot of work for today. Now you're ready to take off. I want you to know that coming up, we have 2 killer webinars this summer. I'm going to take you all the way to success in your business. The next one is called Taking Off with Your Business. It's going to show you how to follow the money, how to create your one-page business plan, create a plan for yourself as a human being and for your business, and how to be congruent and happy with both things. Taking steps toward your dream and having a business that makes money, because otherwise, why are we doing all this? I want you to be abundant and have a successful business. And then the 3rd webinar is really going into the money, running a business that actually makes money, not blah, 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 money. So we're going to learn how to manage our money really well, how to diversify your business, not to put all your eggs in one basket, and how to stay and maintain profitability and be a success and crush it. I want you to join I Am Self-Made, hashtag I Am Self-Made, the self-made movement, and stick with us. We're all in this together, ladies. We're all in this together. Women in America are now, 40% of us are the breadwinners in our family. And in multicultural families, 60% of us are the breadwinners in our family. All opportunities are coming toward women. You've asked me to break this down for you step by step. So ladies, keep coming back to these webinars. I'm going to make you an expert by the end of the summer. And I say to all of my Latinas, adelante, yo soy Nelly Galán, and I'm with you all the way.